I am now declaring our
fourth action.
All right. Welcome back, everybody, to our fourth action.
Fourth action with 5 of us.
Yes.
Thank goodness.
Yeah.
Emily has returned to play Inara.
It is not the same without you around. Many times we were recording last time, we stopped and said, we need her here.
There was an energy missing from the table.
Energy changes when you're here. It does.
Yeah.
I think if any of us is gone, it's going to be like, oh, dang it.
Yeah.
Because we really do want the player and character input on the scenarios. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Especially when they're taking other people's weapons without asking.
We actually talked about that
You did?
off mic, or in non-game mode. Is this a smart thing for us to do? Like, will we all die when Inara wakes up?
Should have rolled a wisdom check. Maybe.
Let's see if she rates.
Wrong party.
Yeah,
If you're asking for wisdom checks, look elsewhere.
yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
100%.
Well, I miss being here.
We're so glad you're
Yeah.
back. There's all the memes and things about the most dangerous, the most difficult, the highest CR rating thing that a D&D party has to overcome is the schedule.
Yep.
Yes.
Or just things happening.
Yeah.
Somebody being sick, for instance.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
So
different when you're making recordings because we have to get content out or else we'll fall behind schedule.
right.
And you do multiple recordings in one session, which we do, in case you guys haven't figured that out yet.
Oh, yeah.
We, missing a couple sessions means 4 to 8 episodes that we have to make up time for. It's challenging.
Yeah, and then it becomes challenging. And then there's editing, on top of that. So it's not just like record and then hit submit and send it out to the world. Like we want to put music and a few little sound effects and Foley.
You gotta
in.
edit me out.
Many,
Many times.
so many times. So many. No, I'm just teasing.
I'm just too hilarious.
How does that? How are some ways that tell us in the comments and email and things like that? But for us here around the table, how are some ways that you handle that in your home game whenever a person can't make it to the table? What are How do you explain it in game? Do you explain it in game, or is there just a reality shift? Like, what are some experiences and best practices you guys have found?
I mean,
Just
everybody.
become an NPC. It's like,
that's
it's like their soul leaves their body and it's just this shell.
It just starts to follow them around behind or whatever.
Yeah.
So
well, I mean, we can't quite do this with recording, but in home games, sometimes we'll have a designated, not pitch hitter, but a designated pitch player, I guess. So we're like, okay, if I can't make it, Jeremy or whoever is going to play 2 characters.
Yep.
Mine and his.
I would like to listen to Jeremy play Inara.
Yeah, do the voice, Jeremy.
I think I could pull it off. I think I could do it. Like, oh my gosh. Give me some beer and something to hit. It's tricky because I've been in games where I couldn't make it, or we had players that couldn't make it, and sometimes a DM will play the character, or they'll put him in some kind of coma, like Inara had to suffer through. But sometimes you just can't advance the story without that character there.
Yeah.
And then you're missing all the input. Like, I really didn't like not having Inara's presence in the game and Emily's presence at the table. I think we all share that sentiment.
Right.
If one of us is gone, we lose a piece of what makes this fun happen. So
the basis of role playing is the communal experience.
Yep.
The real question is, what do we do when the DM can't make it?
Yeah.
level up.
We all get
We get to do whatever we want.
That's right.
yeah.
And none of it will count. It'd be like the JR healing.
Like Dallas.
Dallas.
The season of Dallas. It was just all fake in the shower or whatever.
Well, I have heard of groups having guest DMs and things.
That's crazy.
If you have a group that you want, and it's like the social event that you want to keep it going, and the game isn't as important as the camaraderie, you can always bring in a board game for that one. Have somebody throw a one shot. Fun things like that, or just watch a show together, watch a movie, decompress. Just because, really, honestly, mostly D&D for most of me and my friends is a reason to get together, make fun of each other, laugh at each other, laugh with each other, and
You sit around a table.
Correct.
You eat junk food. You you heckle each other.
yeah.
And occasionally a game breaks out.
And no matter what, you're making memories, whether it's in the game or out of the game.
And we, again, as you mentioned earlier, Jeremy,
Yeah.
as you mentioned earlier. How many
indistinguishable.
times do we do that too? Side tangent,
Right.
Right, where you call someone by their character name, or
When you say me, you mean you.
Yeah, I don't know, Inara.
Or by somebody else's character.
or by somebody else's character.
No, yeah, we all do that stuff.
Knock on wood. We've
Yeah.
gotten better at that. It hasn't happened so
Oh,
blatantly.
it hasn't. But mostly because
She was gone.
What you mean we?
Yeah.
We were lucky because as Jeremy mentioned, this is for not just us. I mean, we're having a great time, but we want you guys out there to enjoy the story and use us as the thing you can experience and enjoy before you get a chance to be around the table again.
That's why we're here, so you can get that role playing fix when you can't be with your group.
Exactly. We were quote unquote lucky in that the storyline kind of fit where it was plausible that Inara was out of commission.
Yeah, I mean, you were in town and she drank a lot of booze. It made sense she'd be
Well,
unconscious.
she was mostly
Really?
dead.
And mostly
And
dead.
mostly
Yes.
dead.
Which luckily was partially alive.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
but just barely. Yeah.
What would the game be without Inara?
Oh, we kind of
Question.
Less fun.
yeah, for
More
sure.
serious.
For sure.
I mean, when you die, we'll find out. Yeah. The dice have been like we've had some good dice rolls.
I was going to segue to, we haven't had a fourth action since you guys leveled up.
yeah.
So what's it like being at those high second levels?
One of the things that I thought was fantastic as we plug into the very last episode that we just did was Inara wakes up, and because of the way Pathfinder works, she's still not at full hit points yet. Is that right? Were you still 2 down or something?
I am not.
Or no?
She
No,
would
she
have
was healed
been, but there
But
was
there was
something happening.
yes, there was an extra +6.
Yeah.
Came out of
So,
nowhere.
there we go. But then
So we
Plame,
leveled up, right?
yeah. But then Plame, you still weren't at full
No,
with your new second level hit points.
that's correct. And if I hadn't leveled up, then I would just be a greasy spot on the floor. But fortunately, I had enough hit points to survive the trap.
Who knew bookstores were dangerous?
I think you did, if I remember right. Right at the tail end of that.
Oh, that's right.
Of the level up episode, you said something. We were talking about going back into the dungeons, and you were like, "Will it be more dangerous than a bookstore?" And I'm thinking, I hope not.
And then, shkung.
Yes.
That was incredible. That if we had not leveled up, you would have been dead. Wow.
Absolutely. Because it was like 17
Absolutely.
points.
Well, even after he leveled up, he was down to 3-4 hit points.
Well, no, I had 15, I think, after the healing.
Yeah.
Right, from the night before, from Glim, and then he got me 2. And then the other cleric healed me for
Bryn.
10. Bryn.
Oh, that's right. The slap on the back that
Yeah,
then,
yeah.
and you level up, you got
Right.
10 hit points
Yeah.
from that. So
But no, I mean that trap. After the level up, that trap left you with
Oh, yeah.
just 3 or 4 hit points.
3 or 4 hit points, yeah. Almost dead.
So you'd have been dead.
And you were alone,
yes.
which we need to be careful of, not letting Plame go off by himself.
Yeah, Plame.
All the time. I mean,
So what do you guys think of the level up? Because, I mean, what we kind of started doing this for was to explore Pathfinder 2E.
Yes.
So what is it like leveling up in Pathfinder 2nd Edition?
it's a little overwhelming at first because there are so many choices when it comes to the feats. Because honestly, most of your abilities and character differentiation in Pathfinder 2E comes from the feat system, whether it be from your class feats. Because when you choose a class feat, you can also alternately choose an archetype feat instead, and that's basically the multi-classing system for Pathfinder. And that's where all your flexibility and building your customized character and making it fit your backstory comes from. And it's a lot. There's I think I had 25 different archetype feats to choose from, and
There's 100 and 15-ish
Total.
total.
Archetypes.
Are there really? That's crazy.
Yeah.
And
And,
1,520, something like that.
Holy
based on my prerequisites and what I qualified for with your stats, your abilities, and your skills and stuff, you have to have prerequisites for most of them, and I had a subset that I could choose from, and it was a whole lot more than I expected. And then you still have your normal class feats from like whatever you are, rogue or wizard or those things. They have those to choose from too, so it can be a lot for the first time you look at it. Now, of course, I built 4 or 5 characters just for fun to see how the system works, and I'm like, oh, I know I went for this person after reading through it once. So it gets less intimidating over time, but
Yeah.
it is.
But
And to clarify, I'm not deep in D&D 5e, but it's not the same as multi-classing because you still, like in the old days, you multi-class or you dual class, and you can't use your old class until your new class catches up to the level you're of the old class.
Yeah, that first edition stuff, right? You can, but then you don't get any
But you get
experience, points.
Whereas this, it's just more of maybe realistically, if you want to go learn something, or in the case of Plame, something happens to you, you can customize a character to be just about anything you want to be. Like the way I've heard it explained, if you take a fighter is a fighter. You have 100 fighters, they're going to have pretty much the same feel to them. Mm-hmm. But with Pathfinder, you could have a fighter that starts off as a fighter and then archetypes as a magician or a magic user or a thief or a druid, right? And just take skills from those places. And you can do that quite a few times. Now, granted, there's some restrictions on it. So Plame, his archetype that he took as a class feat, he can't take another different archetype until he has progressed through 3 feats out of the one he picked.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, so you get like 3 on that.
So
that's-
he won't be able to do another archetype probably until like 7th level.
And so that's probably to keep the balance of me not becoming a fighter, magic user, rogue, thief, druid by taking one archetype skill.
You can though.
You
but
could,
It just
but
takes time.
It takes a lot of time.
You get like 4, I think.
Normally you get
total.
like 3 or 4
Yeah.
that you can
Depending on
that you
which
can
ones.
cram into a character before level 20.
Yeah, including your base character.
Yeah.
Well, and how many? I think it depends on the archetype. How many you have to pick up. before you can
Sometimes
connect.
it's
Some
a
are
little,
more,
I think
some
it's
are
2 I
less.
saw.
Yeah.
Some's 3. Mine was 3. Some were more.
Yeah,
Some were 4.
most of them were 2, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what was that archetype that Plame picked up on the side? If
So
you're
it's an
ready.
interesting thing.
Do you want to tell us? You don't have to. I see that.
I mean, I'm thinking through
for the
what we
listeners,
saw.
there's a mischievous look on Brook's face right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's start with you.
Have we seen it yet? I don't know. So anyway,
Well, we saw a thing of it.
We saw a
really
thing of it.
confused
it did confuse Fawin.
Fawin a lot. And granted, some of it's flavor text that we put into it. But
Yeah. In fact, she even asks an NPC about, hey, have you ever heard about a deity just randomly blessing someone with an ability? Like, yeah.
So I guess I go to the mechanics of it. I'll talk about it. That's fine. So level 2, I took an archetype that's called the Blessed One Dedication. And part of it is driven by the fact that we don't have any magical healing other than what we buy. And if you're not aware, in Pathfinder potions...
Who goes adventuring without a healer?
Exactly. Yeah. It's a bunch of
have
knuckleheads.
It's a knuckleheads.
But
it was a
healing potions- and I
hodgepodge.
didn't-
I'm not really with them. I don't know.
I didn't even realize it until we got back and we started looking. But like, I think a decent health potion, we may have talked about this before, is 4 gold.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Even a small one. And
Which, side note, sometimes that's throwing people a little bit because Boddy and I talk about the cost of materials. It's like 2 gold pieces a spell to put that across. And so it would cost 6 gold pieces for us to do the whole thing. And folks, one person was like,
6
what?
gold's not that much.
That's not that much at all. But Pathfinder 2nd edition is based on the silver system.
Yeah. So 2 gold pieces in Pathfinder would be like getting 20 gold, I guess, or 40 gold
Yeah.
in another system.
Yeah.
Gold is scarce.
Gold is scarce.
Yep. And
It's
so,
almost like it's
so
valuable.
part of it, I'm deciding we leveled up, and Plame wanted to try to bring in just a little bit a small amount of magical healing. And honestly, I wasn't really thrilled with the rogue options that I had for class feats. So I went to digging through, and part of it was actually inspired because Stacy brought in Glim when we leveled up, right? Who is a cleric of Caleb.
I will like that guy a lot.
Yes, the accidental god.
Yep.
And so I was looking through what his history and what his kind of areas that he deals in, and I realized it matches our party really, really well because
accidental describes this party
Yes.
very accurately.
exactly. But he is obviously the god of alcohol or drinking.
Yes.
But more of getting together in a tavern with friends and having an enjoyable time, just like we get around the table and we enjoy each other's company.
Yeah.
That's really what it is.
In a cozy bar on a
Exactly.
Friday. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
But he's also
right? Don't you love that? It wasn't intentional. That fits so well.
Oh
You
my
saw
gosh, I love it. I
episode
love
one.
it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Segued right in.
No,
I'm sorry,
no
I cut you off.
idea that it
I
would
cut
be
you
in the future.
Hey.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
awesome. Go
The
ahead.
other thing he is
Go ahead.
very strongly attached to is freedom.
Yeah.
Escape from tyranny. He actually carries, sometimes on his belt, he'll wear a broken manacle.
Caden and Colleen will.
Caleb will.
Yeah.
Caleb will, yes. And so tying in with, Inara really enjoying being in and drinking and, Plame. It's his backstory and even,
Breaking away.
Boddy, escaping from his bondage, and
Fawin.
I don't know about Fawin.
Fawin is
Following a family.
Fawin's slipping away from a certain type of control,
Yes.
which we'll probably see soon. I don't know when, but
Yeah,
soon.
that'll come along.
And then the other big thing is he is very much a god of heroics.
Yeah.
He likes heroes. And so,
I like people who do crazy stuff.
Perfect fit.
The kind of guy who would just jump off a tower with a bat's wing.
so that
like a hero.
like a hero. So that was so perfect. I couldn't pass it up. So for my second level class feat, I took the Blessed One dedication, which the way it's written in the books is you're touched by a deity, and you gain certain abilities. You're not a cleric. You're not worshiping this deity. They've taken, he or she, whichever deity that you choose, has taken interest in you. And so they give you some of these skills. So for Plame's ability at this level, he has, the big thing is he can do a lay on hands.
Oh, that's awesome.
Right.
And that's what happened to Inara at the first of the episode.
Last episode.
Or last
Or
episode,
that,
yeah.
yes.
Okay.
One of those
Yes.
episodes. Who knows?
Whatever episode.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So, and like I said, some of his flavor text, I just took that and wanted to play some fun with it. So that's why, Inara, she likes her whiskey. So when Plame laid hands on her, his eyes took on that amber hue. And
Oh.
he really, since again, this isn't something, he's not going out to the Caleb and worshiping him. It's just
Caden's just like,
Caleb worked through it.
Yeah.
And so he
like,
didn't
that
really,
guy's cool.
Yeah.
I'm watching you, son.
and so he didn't really know necessarily that that's what he's doing when he just kind of patted her on the shoulder and she, some bruising went away and some of those wounds knitted, the scars kind of went away a little bit. So
Did Plame feel the power? Did he feel the warmth? Did he feel the energy flow
it's
through
an
him?
interesting thing. Anara did.
Yeah.
She didn't know it, obviously, because she was still unconscious. But yes, that was that warm feeling that you get in your stomach after having your first little, nip. And
Oh, yeah.
yeah. But that's not going to be the same for everybody.
Oh, nice.
I love it.
So a little
I'm
bit of storytelling.
starting to feel like Plame is the main character.
No,
Yes.
we learned that in our last recording session. It really is all together.
Yeah, 100.
No, it is.
100%. Well, episode 21, when Plame says no, we.
Our heroes, and it's true, right? I mean, if you, it was, I think, and part of it that triggered it was, the story was kind of focusing in on that with all these goblins that were coming, right? And he was the goblin, but Plame wanted to redirect that back. That no, we're a team, we're a group.
Yeah.
We are playing off each other's strengths and helping each other's weaknesses, and it's an effort that all of us put together. That even with Snagrim, that if we hadn't, it would have quite possibly been a total party wipe.
Oh yeah.
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 I tried.
Which is one of those fun things too that I want to bring up, and just mainly it's for the listeners. But I want to reiterate: we don't really script out what happens. We play this and we do roll the dice. And the dice tell the tale. And so the fact that it just dovetailed in that we finished up what's 21, where the Halfling is absolutely demolishing us, or Plame anyway, and then Fawin finally gets up there, and Fawin casts the cantrip, the Nudge Fate, and then a familiar, and then a sign
Mesmer.
on Mesmer activates, one of his familiar abilities activates,
and right after that, the Halfling rolled a natural 1, and
Fawin's telekinetic projectile was a nat 20.
and Plame was rolling like a 26 to hit. And it was like, we were almost going to die, because Plame had 4 hit points left. And then, bang, just nudge Fate, and Fate steps in and takes a hand, and we just demolished it.
Yeah, which is really wild, because as you were saying, you chose the feat of Blessed One. Since episode 1, Fawin's had the feat of Chosen One. And I'm just like, you can't make this stuff up. Like, the creation that comes together with that. So that's a really cool thing.
And I think that...
Go ahead.
That was what Stacy was hitting at earlier when I mentioned, maybe a certain deity has taken note of the party, and Stacy mentions maybe more than one.
Maybe more than one, right?
Not a certain deity. I think that's the exact words.
Yeah. Because again, Fawin herself still doesn't know who the power is behind Mesmer. Like we still don't. She still doesn't know.
Scary.
Yeah. It's out there. It's giving her power and stuff, but we still don't know.
And I want to give one other shout out too for Stacy. Right when Plame before the flashback, and he goes and sits down at the bar and he strikes up a conversation with Plame. That was a complete surprise for Stacy.
I did not know that was coming.
When Plame was like, "So tell me about your tales that you said your adventure. Tell me about them." Stacy had to come up with that on the fly, and it was superb.
That's awesome.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. And then you're not always, but sometimes we will at least plan out, maybe script certain moments, maybe script the whole thing for flashbacks, right?
Yeah.
Because those are established things in the past, and we want them to have a particular outcome, but they're in the past.
Yeah.
They're character motivators, not necessarily plot motivators. But I think Plame's was just like, it was obviously in your heart, but it just kind of came off the top of your head as far as coming out of your mouth, right?
So the outline was there, and then everything was ad-lib.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Same thing with Boddy. I have a loose. I need to finish it backstory, but my backstory's gonna get long. But when I'm talking about the Boddy stuff and how he reacts to you guys, in the party, it's just I'm just going with what I'm trying to combine what we've done at the table, what we've done together as a group, and how Boddy would try to take on its perspective to tell what he'd feel about the things.
Yeah.
I think we're all like pretty much. I mean, we probably could have a more structured outcome if we sat down and planned out. This is how I'll react to this. This is how I'll react to this. But I think we're all just going with the flow and letting it.
Well, you guys have really well developed characters. I mean, Boddy has a complex backstory. Plame's is a very emotional one. I know you have a lot for Fawin. Inara, she might have a backstory.
It was so amazing to have Emily back at the table, and in the most recent episode, the moment when she wakes up, how did you because what was great about it was there were
never heard before.
There were things, there were things in Emily method acting or whatever. Emily, you yourself don't really know what happened in those episodes verbatim. So it was a surprise. What was it? A surprise to you, Inara, when she wakes up and looks around the room?
Yeah, and there's no sword there. Well, I was kind of struggling because, if it was 81, I'm pretty sure Inara probably would have killed them.
Oh.
But, being with these people that she knows and she's kind of trusted, especially Boddy, she definitely felt betrayed a little bit, I think.
Oh. So an
But-
anger of don't touch my stuff, but also mixed with,
I thought I could
But,
trust
yeah,
you.
yeah. And then, of course, Jeremy rolling a natural 20.
On the diplomacy check.
Yes.
With a 0 bonus, by the way. Yeah.
the dice
it-
freaking telling
yeah.
the story, right?
It is. They
And
do.
it made her kind of like look at herself a little bit like, whoa, I don't need to react this way,
But it was a true passionate reaction from the character, because that's
Yeah.
she obviously has placed a lot more importance in the sword than the party realizes. There's something
And now
to
they
it.
know.
Now-
Yeah, the sword has a name.
Yes.
I don't know that
Yeah.
I know
I don't think
Fawin
we heard
didn't know
before.
it.
No, I don't
Nope.
think she's mentioned it to
I
anyone yet.
feel like I have mentioned it, but I probably just never did and forgot about it.
I can't remember, but it's possible. But
Yeah.
I feel like I have.
yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think in character,
The characters are like, who's this Fang?
Who's Fang? Are you talking?
Yeah.
Did you rename
Yeah.
Morgie?
Did you have a bad dream and you did you wake
Yeah.
up after a nightmare? No,
There were two physicality moments in your description that I absolutely love. Like, and you could see that anger of like she grabs Boddy by the back of the cloak, by the back of the neck as he's sitting on the bed, and like pulls him to his feet. And in my head, she's got like the other hand like rolled up in a fist or whatever, trying to decide what to do. But then Boddy,
Yeah, when he stands full up and like instead of his
And he's
normal
actually pretty tall.
yes, but
too.
instead of being crouched over and like trying to melt, he's like, "What?" It really surprised him, and
Yeah.
he was at full attention to the situation because he was really taken aback.
Yeah.
He thought he was expressing his gratefulness and didn't even think that it would be, because it's just a sword. I mean, he grew up with the hobgoblins and weapons are tools and they're just
Nothing's
everywhere.
sacred.
Yeah.
Nothing is sacred.
Someone gets killed, weapon falls, you pick it up, you run. It's like, and so he's like, "Whoa, what's going on?" And as soon as it happens, before he even realizes it, he's just being completely honest and forthright about his motivations, and it even took him by surprise.
yeah, I just want something about family or friends or
Yeah.
doing what's best for all of us, something like
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
yeah. He said, "I was trying to make it better for you because you all make it better, make me better."
And then after that nat 20, Emily, the reaction you gave Inara was really awesome too.
Yeah. It was cool. It was a natural moment. Like,
'Cause
the-
she just-
a big old hug, and Boddy's
Yeah.
like, "Okay, we went from one form of uncomfortable to the next form of uncomfortable. What's happening?" Humans are so emotional. Yeah, it was a really good moment between those two, because Boddy does not understand the idea of camaraderie that's actually real. Like all his life, he's grown up in the Goblin Warrens, and it's just, you're my partner, you're my buddy, you're my cohort because I can get something out of the relationship. It's always a selfish motivation.
There's a kind of a transaction there. Like,
Correct.
I'm helping you, but you're getting me this.
Yes.
kind
So
of thing.
really,
Yeah.
Boddy doing something like that for Inara was him like doing something very out of his comfort zone.
Oh,
Way-
wild.
Yeah, he's, and that's because Boddy did not fit in that environment before, and now he's finding that why he felt so odd, and he found this instead, and so
And
he's
then
like,
Inara made him feel bad about it.
yeah, exactly. That's why he reacted. That's why he stood full up, ready to fight at first. He was
Yeah.
rigid. He's like, okay, this is what I'm used to, and then he thought, man, I don't want that, and he just let the honesty pour forth, and it paid off. And I think it shocked the rest of the party as much as it shocked Boddy. He's like, wow, what's happening to me? So he's changing along with the party. It was a really, the dice really did bring that moment out, and it's just awesome. yeah, it was good. Talk about healing. We do have a smidgen of magical healing besides Plame now, and it's Fawin's.
Well, Fawin's had the cauldron, and
Yes.
so she can make. I think way back, like episode 1 or 2, I said that there were 2 a day, and I'm wrong. At my level, it's just 1 a day. Now it ended up not affecting us in game because we found so many, but I had to take one away from her inventory. So
Really? So
Yeah.
you can make one potion a day?
one healing, yes, and she can make other things too. Right
Yeah.
now, she focuses on the healing potion, and that's what she has done at the beginning of each day is to use her little cauldron, her little Scentsy pot, and
Nice.
make this one potion, make this one
Scentsy
healing.
pot. I love it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, we were
Crazy.
talking about leveling up. So, what's the future look like for Nara? Where do you
What's the
imagine yourself
future?
in 5 levels?
Well,
And,
not much
sorry.
going on right now. So I got 1 class feat and 1 skill feat. Not too much. I may or may not be thinking about something for the future that would involve a little animal companion.
I think we need to talk
But-
about that.
Well, I think we'll keep it.
No?
Let's keep
Okay.
it for now.
What's the motivator for like what happens if that's not the best quote unquote build? Like what if it's not the most economical or meta perfect build? Why would you do that if it's not the thing
Because
that's
it
going to
doesn't
make her
matter.
go? Why doesn't it matter?
It tells the story. It's not about. Now, mechanically, I would like Inara to not die, like she almost has, but
Picky. So picky.
that's not really what makes the game fun. And I think that a lot of people don't realize that. Most newer people that I see play will try and use everything that's look up a build guide online. Okay, this and this and this, and
Yes.
it's just, it's
Yeah.
not. It doesn't really create You're just creating this NPC that doesn't really have any character behind it.
We've kind of playfully mentioned, I don't think it's specific like in the rules that there's an urban barbarian per se, right?
No,
No,
it's
But-
not actually.
no, that's just.
But that's just a
That's
flavor
just
thing
me.
we've picked up from.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
that was just
Yeah.
player choice because I had a specific backstory in mind that did not involve your typical barbarian.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have a bunch.
It's pretty barbarous.
Yeah,
But it's not
that's true.
in the woods barbarian.
I get the feeling the way these two are talking, we've got something coming very, very soon. Some type of flashback, maybe, very, very soon. Oh, I'm so excited!
knows?
I'm so excited.
And speaking of character growth, what about Fawin?
Yeah.
Well, the last 4th action, I said something about maybe Fawin taking cackle, and we talked about what that laughter might be like for Fawin. And then I was looking at it, and cackle is absolutely fantastic if you have a lot of spells that have either the sustain trait or a duration. And currently, Fawin doesn't. She doesn't have a lot of spells that would be the best feat choice for her. So I'm super looking forward to taking cackle. But instead, for my feat, I chose to enhance mesmer.
Oh, that very fits with her because her and that cat are very nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
And besides, we know it wouldn't be a cackle; it'd be a snort laugh. I think we all know that.
Mesmer has really started making his presence.
Most of the time he's very chill, but every so often he's like, "No, guys,
Yeah.
we're doing this."
Yeah. and
Just
not
like a
in-
cat. Just
yeah.
like a cat.
In combat, non-combat, just it's really become a bigger part of Fawin's character development than I expected. Which I think a lot of times the familiars are just mechanically in the background.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just a drone you send out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Paizo has done such a great job of if you embrace it for the witch, that familiar is so important.
It becomes like its own character.
The flavor that you can embrace, and yeah, you're exactly right, Stacy.
Yeah. It's kind of a semi NPC.
Yeah, and you and I have talked about that.
Yeah, we're-
Mostly Mesmer is mine, but you have mentioned there's going to be some times in which suddenly,
Mesmer's like, nope.
Mesmer's going to be a feline and do its own thing.
So I'm actually, I don't know if it'll ever happen, but I'm kind of looking forward to as Wargy gets older. I mean, we already have a situation. I don't
Maybe
know
we'll
if
finally
you
get him to
remember.
clean up his language.
Yes, if you remember, Wargy actually said a word.
Wabu, wabu.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
granted, I
Scooby-Doo.
don't think Plame was quite the best role model.
Translator. Oh yeah.
But yeah,
It's something you hear when Plame stubs his toe.
and I have a question for the DM.
Yes.
So we're working.
The DM
off
has an evasive
the
answer.
GM. The Age of Ashes,
Yeah.
right? Which is a module or a adventure path. So it's characters and monsters. A lot of them are already laid out.
Uh-huh.
The Growlithe. How many extra hit points did you give that thing?
Oh, the Growlithe.
Growlithe. Sorry, Growlithe.
I gave it. Let me see. Let's do a quick calculation in my head. Carry the 1. 0.
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure Inara did enough damage to kill it in her first hit.
She hurt it pretty
like
bad.
it,
She
should've.
got it about half hit points on her first hit.
Yeah,
And
she
then
whacked
everyone
it.
else was like nickel and dime.
Yeah, it has 35 hit points. She did what, 23 the first hit, something
Yeah.
like that.
We didn't
So-
hit it very much. And then Plame hit it after that once with a crossbow, I think,
Yeah,
right?
not very much damage at all.
Yeah. And then I
Did
think
Stagger never hit it?
Stagram hit it,
Yeah.
but he didn't roll very well, I don't think.
yeah, he only did like 2 or 3 damage to it, I think. It
He
was,
did like pretty close to minimum.
yeah, it was almost nothing.
Might have been like 5 or 6.
I remember being very surprised when the empowered
Spell strike.
yes, took it down. I thought it was just
Yeah.
going to be like a big injury.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it was awesome.
Yep.
You can see that if you haven't had a chance to see that. You can see that if you are a member of Patreon of our Patreon, patreon.com/reddirtdnd, and all you have to do is be a free member, and you can see the battle map from that
yes,
session,
yes.
and also the Paizo picture of a Groudon. It's posted free for you.
Yep.
You can
Right
also
there.
find it on Archives of Nethys as well.
Well, yeah, but it's less fun, right? It's better to be on our Patreon.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah.
And being on our Patreon doesn't just give you access to the stuff from Wayfinder Legends. You've got a huge, we've got this group of stories that are being told on different platforms, and the original Red Dirt D&D stuff is still fantastic.
They just started a campaign 3.
Campaign
Correct.
3.
Yeah.
I think somebody's DMing.
This
it. I
weird,
don't know who.
they have this weird DM that
Yeah, funny looking dude. Yeah.
yeah has a really bad Haitian accent, or is it Italian?
It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell.
Yeah.
That drops December 4th. Yes,
Yes.
Campaign 3.
I'm so excited
So-
about that.
Yep.
That's awesome.
And of course, you can check out. They've got things on YouTube as well. We have things on YouTube as well. So
I think there's currently some teasers for season 3.
there
on YouTube.
are. If you haven't missed those, in fact, as of this recording, all 4 of them are out. I believe now.
And I believe there's also a bunch of unique materials that are being developed for season 3. Monsters, magic items,
Yes.
groups in the world.
There may be a creative genius here at the table who is helping out with some of the things that are outside of the main city.
Jeremy.
Including some, it's the creative genius
Not that one.
at the table. So
the ball one.
many kudos to Stacy for helping out with that.
And I'm assuming those will find their way to the Patreon once they've been used in game.
Yeah, 100% for sure, with your permission.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Darn
We got
thought-
derailed.
We did.
We were talking about character development and NPCs, and speaking of NPCs,
Yes.
we've had a nice development with Alec Stagram.
Would you
there.
call it nice? Would you call what is happening with Stagram nice? Is that your definition?
So, I mean,
the
who
DMs
knew
was
he had a little bit of a punk rock streak through him?
Yeah, he's
I thought it was more of just like hard metal.
yeah.
It is.
You know.
He's pretty metal. He's pretty
Yes.
metal, man.
This is a little weird.
He's extreme.
He's a bit much. Yeah.
Yeah. He's a guy on a mission to like reclaim or cleanse or something, right? Like,
There's something going on. There's a reason why he's here. Hell Knights don't typically take a lot of vacations. So, there might be questions like, what's going on?
Do they typically do really weird things like stab nails into their skin?
They have a thing called a reckoning, where if they have transgressed, if they have been less than an ideal Hell Knight, they must be punished. And they punish themselves.
I wonder what
There's
he
a reckoning.
sees.
Sorry, what's the religious, like the Christian sect that would...
Flagellation?
Yeah,
Flagellants.
Flagellants, yeah.
Yeah.
So kind of like that, yeah.
yeah, we like self
Yeah, they would
not
beat
self mutilate,
themselves.
but
Yeah.
like beat
Well, no,
you.
there was some, back in the Middle Ages, they would actually...
Don't
beat themselves
requiem.
until their backs were bloody and raw and stuff.
Yes,
They
yes.
got pretty
Yeah.
intense.
Plame doesn't have to do that. He has somebody do it for him. He has people that does that for him.
I'm important now.
That was a real thing. It was yeah.
Yeah, and the
Yes,
Hell
that
Knights, I think they're inspired by some of the crazy orders of the Middle Ages.
Yep.
But they've taken the alignment and twisted them a bit. We'll just say that. As they were on a mission from God, he's on a mission from someplace a little lower.
I mean, he is a Hell Knight.
Hell Knight, yeah.
So as a side note, in this last episode, we had a hint of something brewing up north, right?
Yes, you made a wonderful lore drop.
Yeah.
What was that lore drop,
That
and where does it include, and where did it come from?
Okay,
Yeah.
so that is actually a reference to a completely different adventure path that Pathfinder has created. In the middle of Golarion is like this big inland sea. Just south of it is Multhune and Isger. That's the nations on the south side of it. On the north end, you have Ustalov, and it used to be called Lastwall. And the Whispering Tyrant is this like ancient immortal lich.
Yeah.
Tyrant's Grasp Adventure Path, that's the name. Anyway, he is this ancient immortal lich. The god Eredin fought him and was only able to just contain him. He couldn't kill the guy. He just kept coming back.
So
in
was
one of the
he-
adventure paths, he breaks loose. and
Was he
gets-
originally Aslanti?
He might have been.
When
I
he was
think
still alive?
Oh, I think the Whispering Tyrant was
Like
originally
he might go
Aslanti.
back to the old Aslanti rune lords.
Yeah.
And
So,
it's-
and yet the Aslanti, if you're not be nerd out in the Pathfinder, that was like the original civilization of humans.
the ones who like develop magic and
Yes.
all that. So
It's
they're
similar
like the
to-
Atlantis. I
Like
guess.
Exactly.
Atlantis,
It's similar
yes.
to Atlantis.
Yeah.
Atlanteans.
So yeah, you have
Atlantes.
this ancient lich who's like 6,000, 10,000, however many thousands
I
of
think it
years
was
old.
6,000, something like that.
Yeah, who breaks loose and just runs havoc and just totally annihilates. There's this country called Lastwall that was basically full of paladinic orders that were there just to keep him contained. He breaks loose and slaughters them. And he finally gets defeated and returned to his lair. But, I mean, that's the whole adventure path. And so it's a reference to that nation of Lastwall. And Maxov, the guy with the really terrible Transylvanian accent that I did, was meant to be a refugee. Because they are kind of it's kind of a fantasy Eastern European feel to it. It's like a bad monster movie. Yeah, and so he's meant to be a refugee from that land who's come here, and so I'm just kind of mixing in other adventure paths to give you guys a feel because it is a living world.
Yep.
Yeah.
Golarion has all these adventure
not
paths.
Not exactly a nice world.
No, it kind of a suck world.
Yeah, pretty much wherever you go, right? I mean,
Everything's
maybe
gonna
Isker
kill
might
you.
even be one of the better places to be. I mean,
Yes.
you got Cheliax who borders them, and they're covered with demons, and you had the
Yeah.
Lich in Last Wall. You've got the World Wound, which is another
Yes.
space with.
That's up north. It's
Up
basically
north.
just a hell gate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which as part of a living world, as second edition starts, they have had that closed off now. Like the heroes who do that adventure path have sealed the world wound. Right now, it's still dangerous, and there's demons trapped on this side of it and stuff. But yeah. So
Yeah.
anyway, sorry.
No, it's So you have all these. Each region of the world has adventure paths,
Yeah.
and you may not be playing all of them. We're only playing one of these adventure paths, but other parties unseen are still playing the other adventure paths out there
So Isger
and
was
advancing the world.
Yeah.
Isger was the source of like great strife back when the Goblin Blood Wars were happening in First Edition.
Yes.
Now that has ceased, and the conflict has moved elsewhere.
Yeah.
It's so it's like who somebody said Isger might be. Hal just said it. Isger might be one of the better places to be. It actually is. Now it's in
Right.
the reparations kind of time period after the wars are kind of over. That's why goblins are getting integrated into normal society. Hobgoblins aren't getting killed on sight.
But you're also dealing with a lot of the aftermath. You have these abandoned castles. You
Yes.
have Hell Knights who, in goblins, who have a lot of hang-ups from what happened
Yes.
because of that war. There's a saying, and I try to keep it in mind when I'm sort of adventure planning. The duration of the war is far longer than the fighting. That's an actual saying, and I'm sorry, I can't. I'm blanking on who said it, but I try to keep that in mind when I'm thinking of the adventure. Like,
I mean, look at Europe. We still feel echoes from World War II.
Yeah.
You know, the impressions of different countries and their involvement in the war, and that is still not faded.
yeah, why is some parts of Europe more economically developed, some parts less, and
Cultural references. Sadly, there's still some stereotypes and there's discrimination based on someone's nationality, and I mean it takes a long time, and the deeper and more severe the war is, the longer it takes for those things to fade. Yeah, it's interesting, and I mean I think Paizo's writing and their world building, I think it's the best in the business. I really love it.
Yeah. I love it so much. A
solid.
living world.
It's a living world. Yeah.
I mean, they were stuff they were putting out when they were just a company making modules for D&D. It was also fantastic.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah, Pathfinder, I think, was what they originally called their set of modules
Yes.
that they started with. And now it's become its whole world.
Yeah, Adventure Pass actually started as monthly adventures in Dungeon Magazine.
Yep.
And every 6 issues, every 6 months, right, you would complete one, and then whenever that topsy-turvy craziness happened for 4th edition, they said, well, we've been doing those, let's just make that our full-time business.
Yep.
And then build a world around it. So
And it's been awesome.
So I want to segue back.
Yeah.
We're talking about second level,
yes.
but we're also talking about the ability to enhance the characters. So what's up with Mesmer chewing up that scroll?
I hope that is as creepy as I intended it to be. So that is something I can finally open the door on for those folks who
Did I
don't
miss
know.
this?
Oh
Yeah,
yes,
we
you
missed this.
did.
Yeah,
Yes,
I
you
did.
did. So it is out there in the episodes.
So for you listeners out there, just remember, since Emily wasn't here for the recording, a lot of the content that we, unless she goes and listens to them before it's released, which it's up to her, she'll be hearing it for the first time along with you guys.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, makes it easier to play an Inara who doesn't know
Who
what's
doesn't
going
know.
on.
Yeah.
So-
Yes, the ignorance in real life makes it easier to roleplay
That would be
ignorance.
such a tough choice, man. Because I'm the
want to
person.
know, but then again, I can't.
Yeah.
You
I
know?
want to know.
Yeah, I have been known to go ahead and buy a book series as it comes out, but not read it until I know the trilogy is finished or whatever it is, because then, by God, I don't have to wait for the cliffhanger at the end of the book, right? I can just move right on into the
You don't
next
get to
one.
book 5 and you're like, when's book 6 coming
Exactly,
out?
George R. R. Martin. And so,
Yeah, I wasn't going to mention names. I wasn't going to say George R. R. Martin, but since we're not saying George R. R. Martin, this is
That's right. We'll not refer to George R. R. Martin.
My blood pressure's rising over here thinking about how many years I've spent lamenting the slow turnout of books.
while you're waiting, pick up almost anything by Brent Weeks. He's absolutely fantastic. I just finished his Lightbringer series after waiting for the 5 books to come out. Originally, it was just going to be. I think it was going to be a 4 books, and then he was like, I just can't do it all in 4, so he did it in 5. It's absolutely stupendous with that. But yeah, one of the mechanics of the witch class is the power comes from the familiar. And the way that a witch learns new spells is she takes a scroll. It doesn't have to be the only way, but in this case, she takes a scroll and makes it into like a paste and feeds it to the familiar. And so that's why some of which she was able to deceive Boddy, but a lot of it she was not. Boddy knows something's not right.
Yeah.
She kept trying to say, well, it's kind of like the way a sorcerer bloodline works. And Boddy could tell that is not, is not how that's up. But it destroys the scroll. That's why it's so important for Boddy to be able to, for in Fawin's mind, so important for Boddy to have a chance to copy them into his spellbook first, and then she would have them.
Even though that means there's a chance that Boddy's going to fail.
Yes.
I don't think I destroy it if I fail.
What if you critically fail?
I don't know. I'll have to look and see.
It would hide on a critical failure. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
You get it copied, but you got it copied wrong.
it's going to be automatic, like some type of
wild magic.
feedback. Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
Whatever that.
Thank you, Hal.
How?
Oh no.
Yeah.
But yeah. So when she feeds it to Mesmer, then Mesmer now knows the spell, and all of Fawin's magic, all of a witch's magic, comes from her familiar. And so that's why it's
You have
the
to feed
familiar.
the power to him.
The familiar is the spell book.
Yeah. That's why you see her memorizing Mesmer every morning.
Yeah, they're sitting there, just we've seen it a couple of times where she's just giving him strokes and cuddles and or they're just sitting on his lap and they're just intently looking at each other like face to face and stuff.
Is that actually part of the mechanics?
It's a flavor mechanic,
Okay.
but you do have to commune with your familiar.
Yeah. So
Right.
that's similar to Plame. He has to spend 10 minutes doing something that basically, like you said, it's focusing on the deity.
Oh, that's crazy.
So there'd be some fun there. Now, Boddy, I don't know. Boddy, do you have a spell book or do you?
Yeah,
Yes. Boddy has a spell book.
the one that's
He's a
encrusted
proper wizard.
He's a
It
proper
makes
wizard.
sense.
Actually has to be the intellect.
encrusted with blood though, because you can't prestidigitate some of that blood off.
Yeah. It's or he doesn't want to. I think is what it is. I think he's
He's got
afraid
a
to.
psychological hang up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Not Boddy.
Boddy has a spell book that he got from his past that has it's got stuff in it that's beyond his comprehension. But maguses, I should say, or maguses. I don't know how to say that word right.
Yeah.
Another word.
They're more wizard than they are like anything else, and they use a spell book to prepare their spells in the morning. So I have to choose which spells are in my slots and go from there, and it's interesting. So yeah, in the mornings you'll see him wake up, thumbing through his spell book first, and then he'll move to his medic book to get better at that, so he doesn't kill somebody.
And Fawin, the witch also is a non-spontaneous caster, a prepared caster. She has to choose which spells
She pulls
she's
out of
pulling
the
from
cat.
Mesmer every day.
Of course, she chooses which spells.
Ba-dum-bum.
But
And Inara has our first big ticket magic item of the campaign.
Permanent magic item.
I know. I mean, as a player, I'm happy, but as an aura,
oh yeah, it didn't go down the way she liked it.
then, yeah.
But once she started cutting
But,
stuff up, she liked
yeah,
it, didn't she?
I think so.
Yeah, by the way, you might owe them the cost of a new dummy.
That's okay.
Yeah, well.
I like it.
A
But
little
yeah,
architectural destruction.
definitely a little bit of an upgrade
Oh yeah.
for an aura.
Yeah.
There's so many times we've been like 1 point shy of a crit.
Yeah.
1 point shy of a crit again and again.
Or 1 point shy of a hit.
Or 1 point shy of a hit. And so now that's going to shift.
You bet. And this potency rune then gives you a +1,
On all hits.
but it opens up like a pathway for other runes to be put on it. Is that right?
Then you make a sentence.
Yes.
I don't know the specifics because I'm kind of new to these Pathfinder runes.
Yeah.
Well, there's
But-
there's like runes that can boost damage, that can give you different damage types.
Yeah.
Like there's some runes that'll let you do like fire damage or electrical damage, or I think there's some alignment damage, like good and evil. type
Yeah.
stuff.
There used to be.
Yeah.
Officially,
See, now that's
and you can
this
still
gets a
play.
little-
You can still play with good and evil in your game.
Yeah.
But the newest version of Pathfinder 2e, like rules revisions, they make it where the way to remove it. Yeah.
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 Which does cause a little bit of an issue because the adventure path that we're running,
Yes.
Age of Ashes, was before the revision.
Yeah.
It's 2.0 instead of 2.5. So it still has alignment. So we might use that here.
If we have some 0.5-ish kind of flavor things going on just to keep the flavor of the AP, I think that'd be okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Oh, yeah.
so
I'm all
And-
for it.
I feel like alignment is a massive part
preach,
of-
sister.
Yeah.
Go
Absolutely.
ahead.
Yes.
I think it's really important.
You
Can't
betcha.
just be whatever. Because when I'm making a character, I feel like that's one of the first things I pick Because I feel like the entire character has to be built on the morality of what they will and won't do.
Oh, that's awesome.
There are other systems to put in place for that that I've seen in other games. Like I used to play a White Wolf system a long time ago, and they had nature and demeanor. And there was no alignment or like that. It was nature and demeanor. So there was the way you acted and the actual way that your heart was. And so you could have a selfish demeanor or a selfish nature. So you might be super selfish and self-centered, and you are only self-interested, which you'd think would be, it's more like a chaotic evil kind of situation. But your demeanor could be prim and proper and by the rules, like a corrupt religious person or a corrupt official. So you could have like this.
That's not a bad way to do it.
And you have but then you could have like your nature and demeanor be the same damn thing. Like, I live for chaos and death. I live for chaos and death. And so that was a good way to play with those different things that may not have been like good or evil.
Oh, good stuff.
All right.
I can't wait for the next session.
One quick thing though.
Yes.
Do we want to reveal our alignment just for fun?
Totally could. If you want to see more details, again, go to patreon.com/reddirtdnd and check the Wayfinder tab, and then you can be able to see our second level character sheets.
Every little detail.
There you go.
Yep.
So, depending on which legacy content or not might show what the alignment is. But as Emily, you want to share as we wrap that up?
Sure. Inara is chaotic. Good.
That makes sense in the way she
There's that
people.
compassion, right? There's that compassion.
Yep.
Yep.
She's
plugs in.
chaotic good.
Yeah.
I know I hesitated on chaotic neutral, but I feel like everyone does chaotic neutral, so
Yeah.
Happens a
I
lot.
need a little bit of something in
That's
there.
why you and Stagram get along so well. That shared alignment.
Hopefully it's believable and seen, but Fawin is lawful neutral
That makes sense.
with selfish tendencies. Like
No.
I know.
I did not get that.
Is that why she's so hesitant to give out potions? Yeah. 'Cause, I mean,
What about Boddy?
Boddy is true neutral.
Oh.
I think it's maybe like one of the very few neutral characters I've played. He's not selfish. He's not particularly bothered by laws. He knows that you have to heed them, or else you can get in trouble. But he doesn't really care for them that much. He doesn't.
You mean he's seen oppressive rules in a Hobgoblin militant system?
He knows that he believes that laws can be useful or troublesome depending on who is enforcing them.
I just figured he was being emo. He was like, I reject your alignment system, Dad.
He's true emo actually. Yeah. He doesn't really. And because he's a magic user that is not faith based, his alignment might change. The party, I think, will probably sway him and change him over time. But
That'd be cool.
Yes.
but for now, coming out of the Warrens, he really is just surviving at the moment, and so the more philosophical ideals of good and evil, law and order, and chaos, they really aren't as important to him as just trying to live. And so once he establishes that sense of self, then he'll know what his. But for now,
Yes.
he
I'm
just
sure you'll make the proper decision.
yeah. So it's boring, it's simple, but I mean, it's actually kind of there are two really challenging alignments, I think: lawful good and chaotic evil. Those two are very challenging to me. The other ones are fun and easy, and true neutral. I'm excited to see what that feels like over the
I
course
was
of the.
gonna say I feel like it's difficult
Because
because you have to kind of just not care about what's going on, no matter what.
I think Boddy's kind
Both
of. I'm trying to pull off the dispassionate, like, and it's because of his background and getting into the details. He's a steel skin hobgoblin with the stone face ancestry feat. So steel skin means they have lots of flexible calluses over their body because of the injury they sustained, like in battle or in their life. And then the stone face hobgoblins, they've learned to mask their emotions and stay pretty neutral. And so both of his feats, his heritage and ancestry, I've tried to fit to that. Like he's just a lump of meat that has just been through the grinder already, and so there's not much else the world can do to him. he's the most anti-Jeremy character.
I think you've
He's
talked
the
about that
opposite of your-
Yeah, anybody who knows me, like I wear my emotions on my face. I'm extremely, I'm very exuberant and expressive, and Boddy's just
Yeah.
not.
It's a lot of fun though, isn't it?
I love it.
Oh,
Yeah.
I might have a chaotic fighter who's built to be a very anti-Stacy character.
Yeah.
What about you, Plame?
Yeah.
Oh, well, Plame was actually created after the Fremont Master, so he doesn't have an alignment, but if I was to pick one, it would be Chaotic Goblin.
Yeah, that describes.
I think it
I
fits
think
that
that
he does
summarizes
not
the
have
entire
one.
party. You're a pack of chaotic goblins.
I think I could see either chaotic good or neutral good for the way that Boddy observes
Yeah.
Plame, and he's actually kind of he's quite a bit envious and like impressed by that, because the optimism that Plame embodies and carries with him and all the things that he does, Boddy's like, what? Why are you why do you care so much? Why are you?
Yeah.
Where's all this energy coming from? And it's and to see, because the goblins that he's used to seeing were either chaotic and
Evil.
yeah,
They burnt
a lot of evil
everything
ones, yeah,
and
because those are
run
the
people
ones
down.
that
Yeah.
are useful to the hobgoblins. That because goblins were a shock troop for the hobgoblins and the warrens, and so he's like seeing all these qualities in a goblin that he didn't think were possible, and so he finds Plame extremely like surprising and interesting, and it's been they don't interact directly a whole lot because Boddy doesn't know how to take him. He's like,
Well, the other things too. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plane's backstory.
Plame
he-
tended to
Go see the
be a little standoffish.
yes,
Yeah.
but Boddy doesn't feel that way. He expects hatred, so he kind of expects hatred from everybody in the world because of what he's
Plame
seen.
doesn't
from
hate
them.
anybody except for maybe a stupid so-and-so. a little
One little terrible habit.
Yes. So yeah,
All right.
Boddy thinks Plame is pretty neat.
All right, well,
We should probably wrap it up. It's been
Yeah, there's hobgoblins in Hell Knight Hill who need their home returned. So.
hobgoblins.
Hobgoblins?
No, just
No,
goblins.
goblins.
Oh, like,
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
goblins.
dang it, we've been gone too
No,
long.
but-
They've grown.
there are-
They've been eating and they got bigger. And
There were rumors of hobgoblins in the forest, though, right?
Hobgoblins in the woods.
Yeah. All right. Till next
I
time.
think it's time to
Roll it.
Roll the initiative!